It's time for Just Be You After Dark with me, your host, Mahogany Reynolds. The engaging podcast that motivates you, empowers you, and inspires you to believe in the possibilities of who you are. Welcome to another episode of Just Be You After Dark with me, your host, Mahogany Reynolds. So I'm excited about this topic that I want to share with you today. And at the end of the conversation, there's definitely going to be an assignment for you to do, because I believe that it's not enough to listen to a good podcast. You have to actually do the work. When you do the work, you're able to put into practice the thing that you learned so that you can see if it actually works for you. So that means you have to do the work in order to get the results. So here's the topic for today. Asking for what you need in the bedroom. Asking for what you need in the bedroom. Now, a lot of times in relationships, there's this stage where the couple becomes comfortable and they start to assume that the other person knows what they like and what they need. Sometimes in a relationship, there's repetitiveness. It becomes redundant. It becomes boring. It's the same thing all the time. And that is a problem that manifests itself when there's no communication. You have to communicate to the person that you're in a relationship with intimately on a regular basis so that they are aware of what your needs are. And the way you do that is effective in a positive way is literally be positive about it. When you come to someone asking what your needs are, do it in a nonviolent way. Do it in a way that is leading with love. Lead with love. Hey, can I talk to you for a minute? I just want to share with you a few things that I've been thinking about. Some of the things that I would like for us to do. Is this a good time to talk? Lead with love. Lead with softness. Don't come at somebody all hard. Hey, look, we need to talk because I'm not satisfied and everything that you're doing is completely boring to me. Come on. That's not going to get you anything but an argument, and it's going to lead to hurt feelings. It is so important that when you are in a loveship, an intimate relationship, that the words that come out of your mouth, it mirrors the way you want to be treated in the bedroom. It is so important that when you are communicating what your needs are, that you approach the person with kindness in mind, and that you lead with love and not anger, resentment, animosity, a bad attitude. Now, granted, sometimes your spouse, whoever you're dating, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever term you put on it, okay? Sometimes the people get on your damn nerves. Let's just be honest, all right? They're getting on your nerves. They done something or said something, or they didn't do something, or they didn't say something that you wanted or needed, and it upsets you and it makes you angry. That's fine. It's okay to feel angry. The thing that you need to do, however, before you approach them, take a breath and take a beat. Take a moment before you approach them so that you are in your right mind, honey. So that you are centered within yourself. And maybe in a situation like this, when it comes down to intimacy in the bedroom and expressing what you want and what you need, honey, do something fabulous to go with that. Gentlemen, put on some nice cologne, the one that you know she loves. Make sure your hair is looking nice, that your breath is smelling fantastic. Put on an outfit that you think she'll love to see you in, or I don't know, maybe not an outfit at all. And approach her and say to her, I want to talk. Is this a good time for us to talk? I want to share something with you about what my needs are, something I want to express to you. Are you willing to listen? Same thing for the ladies. That perfume that you know he adores. Make sure your hair is in order, that you smell good, look good. And approach him, leading with love. Hey, honey, do you got a minute? I wonder if we can just talk a little while. I want to talk about some things that I've been thinking about. How maybe we could enhance our connection with one another intimately. Now, this may sound simple, but in some cases, this is not easy. Sometimes your relationship is so strained or stressed out because of work, if you have a family, your career, the world, society, things that are going on that are beyond your control. Maybe there's tension. Maybe there's even sorrow. There's so many factors that could impact your ability to communicate. And then there's this thing called pride and ego that we don't want to communicate because they should know how I feel. I don't need to say this, Miss Mahogany. They already know what I want. And if they don't know, they should know. Child, girl, boy, please. Nobody knows how to read your mind, and you shouldn't require them to. And you probably don't want them to, because half of the stuff you probably thinking you don't want nobody in your head. I mean, for real, can we be honest? Do you really want somebody to know all your thoughts all the time? No, you don't. So you have to communicate. And if you have a hard time doing that, then that's where therapy is so helpful. Life coaching is helpful. Counseling, whatever you want to call it. Group organizations that have group couples counseling or group meetups, whatever you feel comfortable and safe with. But you have to communicate, beloved. You can't assume anything. Because if you assume, you're probably going to end up empty-handed. You're not going to get what you need because you have not communicated. We have not because we ask not. You have to be able to open your mouth and express yourself. Now, here's a suggestion. Say, for example, you say, Miss Mahogany, I hear you. I understand what you're saying. It sounds great, but I'm not a good communicator. I'm shy, or I don't know how to really express myself. I get nervous. Hey, that's fine. That's understandable. This means that you can utilize the power of a love letter. When was the last time you wrote a love letter? And I'm not talking about a text message. I'm talking about a love letter. We have got so damn lazy. When we texting each other nowadays, people don't even spell out all the words. They got all of these acronyms and abbreviations. I mean, come on. It's just lazy. Don't use a text message. Sit down, get a pen and a piece of paper. Remember those? A pen and a piece of paper. Be quiet and get quiet alone to yourself and write a love letter, expressing yourself. And remember to lead with love. Even when you're writing, you have to lead with love. You shouldn't be attacking the other person. You shouldn't be placing blame. Well, I don't have my needs met because you just don't know how to satisfy me. That's not, unless you're willing to do that because you want to end the relationship, because that's exactly where that's going to be headed, if that's the approach you're going to take. But if you're trying to enhance the relationship, improve it, evolve it, stimulate it, then you have to lead with love. You have to be the example. So both men and women, or however you identify, a love letter is so powerful. And it is so helpful for those of us who may struggle with verbal communication, where you don't really know how to find the words. But if you sit down and if you write, I can assure you the words will come to you. Now, I don't want to necessarily advocate AI technology, but hey, it's here. So if you need to use it, use it. Just use it in moderation, okay? You don't want to be led by robots. You want to be led by your spirit, your soul, and your mind. But if you need a little extra help, you could draft a letter, the love letter, leaving out names so that you can keep your privacy intact. And you can put it in something like ChatGPT and say, can you help me improve this letter or make it better? You can do that. At the end of the day, you have options. Okay, say for example, you don't want to use AI. Fine, don't use it. I don't have a problem with that either. Go to the store and buy a greeting card. Remember greeting cards? Oh my God. Right? Ever since they came up with electronic greeting cards, nobody mails people greeting cards in the mail anymore. But guess what? I do. I still do that. And people are always so pleased to receive my greeting cards for their birthday or for Christmas. I still send greeting cards. You can either buy a greeting card or you can be creative and make one. Get some cardstock paper, some construction paper, decorate it the way you want. The key is find some kind of way to communicate. Because when it comes down to intimacy in the bedroom, you have to communicate what you need. If you are not being satisfied, if you are feeling like you're being neglected, you have to open your mouth and communicate that. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself feeling unhappy. And unhappiness is something that can be changed. It can be changed when you start to communicate what you need. And until you do that, things are going to stay exactly the way they are. And guess what? Your spouse, your boyfriend, your mate, your girlfriend, whatever you call it, if they don't know that you're not being pleased, but they're satisfied, they're going to be like, ooh, that was good. All right, I'm about to go to sleep, or I got to go to work, or whatever. They're going to be pleased because they think that it was awesome. Oh, that was just, ooh. They're going to think it's awesome. You, on the other hand, you're like, that was absolutely not good. And so you have to find a way to lead with love and communicate what your needs are. If you like a certain thing about intimacy, whether it's the way you want to be touched, the way you want to be held, the way you want to be kissed, you have to communicate that. If there's something that's being done that you don't like, you have to communicate that. Because being intimate with someone is a big deal. It's a serious thing. And I'm hoping that people are starting to become more aware of that. Unfortunately, we are in a society that is so eager and so willing to make sex and intimacy just no big deal. It is a big deal. It is. And when you join with someone, and biblical people will say you shouldn't be doing anything unless you're married. Some people subscribe to that, some people don't. But whatever you're doing intimately with someone, this is more than just a physical thing. This is also an emotional, spiritual thing. Even if you think, oh, it's just a one night stand, I'm just going to get it off one night and keep it moving. Okay. But sometimes you're going to get attached. And sometimes you're going to catch feelings, as they say. Right? And then that helps you understand that this is not just a physical thing. Now my emotions are involved. But I'm really talking to people who are in committed relationships. I'm talking to people who want a committed relationship. I'm talking to people who are married or dating, or even people who are single, who are looking for true love and true connection. You have to communicate what you need. From the very beginning, do not assume that he, she, or whatever, however you identify, whatever your pronoun is, do not assume that anybody knows what your needs are. Ask for what you want. And here's an assignment for you to consider. This love letter idea, I want you to write a love letter to yourself. I have done this many times. It is so empowering to write a love letter to yourself. So you get a pen and a paper, or if you want, you can go to my website so that I can email you my free digital workbook and journal. That's even better. So go to my website, missmahogany.com. That's MSMAHOGANY.com, missmahogany.com. And I will email you my free digital workbook and journal. And you can use that to write a love letter to yourself. Writing a love letter to yourself helps you become more aware of what you really do need. You may be listening to this and say, this all sounds great, but quite frankly, I don't know what I need. Nobody really talked to me about intimacy. I didn't know anything about sex. I didn't know anything about relationships. So I'm just winging it. I'm just going with the flow. I'm just figuring it out. Okay. Hey, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of us. And that's understandable. So what you can do, you can take the focus off of them and put it on yourself, honey. Put it on yourself. Write a love letter to you. Dear me, this is what I need, want, and desire in the bedroom. I would like, I would need, I would love. You need to write a love letter to yourself. That's going to be so empowering to you. So I encourage you to do this assignment. Write a love letter to yourself. The title is What I Need in the Bedroom. Write it to yourself. And then when you feel confident, you can actually use that letter to create the letter that you want to give to the person that you're intimate with. And if you don't want to give a letter, if you have the courage, and if they are the type of person that is willing to have a conversation, then you can have a verbal conversation with them. But either way, you have to communicate your needs. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to feel loved. You deserve to be touched the way you want to be touched, kissed the way you want to be kissed, caressed the way you want to be caressed. You deserve to be satisfied. And the way you do that is by communicating your needs and not assuming that someone knows what you want, need, and desire. I hope that this has helped you. I hope that you feel empowered to write that love letter to yourself first and foremost, and then have a conversation or write a love letter, buy a greeting card, make a greeting card to someone that you are in an intimate relationship with. And please understand something. Just Be You After Dark is a podcast that I created to help us become more aware of the power of intimacy and to understand that when you are in an intimate relationship with someone, that you are sharing your spirit and your soul and your energy with that person. It is not to be taken lightly. And I want us to always be aware of ourselves first of all, because whatever you bring to the table, you're going to get back. Whatever you put out, you're going to receive. So put beauty, put love, put happiness, put that into the world. Put that into your relationship. Lead with that. Not anger, not a bad attitude, not resentment. If you are dealing with any of those things, that's why it's helpful to get some counseling, some therapy, some life coaching for yourself. Maybe your spouse doesn't want to go. That's fine. You go by yourself so that you can work that stuff out, because it will keep showing up in your relationship time and time again. You guys will get into an argument over something simple like the dishes, and it can get really ugly. And the next thing you know, you're like, wow, what was that all about? Maybe it's an underlying issue. So it's so important to just unpack that stuff It's not going to be pleasant sometimes to unpack your baggage, but you cannot carry this stuff over year after year after year, or carry it in relationship after relationship after relationship. Unpack it and let it go so that you can grow and be aware of what you need, what you want, and what you desire. Not only in the bedroom, but in the world. Thank you for listening to this episode of Just Be You After Dark with me, your host, Mahogany Reynolds. I really hope that you've been inspired, empowered, and motivated to look within yourself, because everything you need, honey, is already inside of you. I pray and I hope that you will go to my website so that I can send you that digital workbook and journal, MissMahogany.com. That's MissMahogany.com. And in the meantime, give yourself a hug. Just take your arms and wrap them around yourself. Or just look in the mirror and tell yourself that you did good today. No matter what you did today, even small, minor things, celebrate yourself, love yourself, and communicate what you need, because that is the pathway to your own happiness. Until the next episode, don't forget what I always say, my trademark mantra, because when I say it, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Be blessed and just be you. Want more? Of course you do. Follow, like, and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes of Just Be You After Dark.